is broken down. The sisterhood has become damaged, and it's being led by women filled with evil intentions. It's being led by women filled with evil intentions who are traumatized and full of fear, and they have nothing else to give you but their own bitterness. And if you are a woman and you are among that crowd, if you are a woman and you are constantly ingesting ideological poison, you cannot be surprised when you find yourself always depressed. You cannot be surprised when you look at your life and there is no fruit. You cannot be surprised when you look at your life and it is consistently in shambles. Listen, everybody goes through hard times. I've gone through hard times. If you're listening to me, you probably have hard times. That's life. That's the ebb and flows of life, right? There's times where things are growing. There's a time of pruning. There's a time where we're being stretched. There's a time when we're relaxing. There's a time and season. But there's a difference between you growing, like growing pains, if you will, and chaos, a life of chaos. And how many of you women are living in a life of chaos? And then you surround yourself around chaotic women. You surround yourself with a sisterhood of failure who have failed results because they reject God. They call themselves divine. They call themselves divine feminine, and they reject God. They reject order. They say they worship their ancestors. They're talking with their ancestors. They use tarot cards to get revelations from their ancestors, and they won't even talk to their own mother. They wouldn't even respect their own father. If they met their grandparents or their great-grandfather, they would despise him. They'd call him a nigger. How do you honor your ancestors and seek for vision from your ancestors and don't even know how to respect your elders? You call men who have your own image niggers. You look at a grown man who, some of them could have been your father, that could have been your brother. You look at him and you celebrate him, calling him a bullet bag. And then you have the nerve to say that you are honoring your ancestors. You're living in delusion. You're living in delusion. That spirituality, that's what you want to call it. That's not spirituality. That's demonology. That's demonology. How? Anything that gives you a reason to hate, anything that gives you a reason to fill you with bitterness and pain, anything that leads to death in your life, spiritually, death in your life, dead results, failed dreams, or even if it does seem like you have it all together, inwardly you're depressed all the time, inwardly you're anxious, you can't hardly sleep, you can't hardly trust nobody, you got trust issues, you have a hard time keeping relationships, it seems like things in your life are always going wrong. Those are called dead results. And that is the example of listening to women and listening to things and taking in ideologies that come from evil and wicked places. And that's what I'm saying. The sisterhood of failure is being led by these women. The sisterhood of failure is being led by these women with evil intentions, with bad spirits, with bad results, with failure. And they're telling women lies. They're telling women what they want to hear because these women aren't used to the truth. They're not used to hearing anything constructive. They think love is telling them what you want to hear. They don't understand constructive love because they hate men, because they hate order, because they hate discipline. And those are the very things that they would need in order to actually start to have better results in their life overall. And they hate it. They think it's bad. They think it's judgmental. No, it's the truth. The truth is a thing that sets you free. But if you don't have an appetite for the truth and you continue to ingest false fables, and you continue to ingest poisonous ideologies, you cannot be surprised when your life is in shambles. And that's not men's fault. It's not the naker's fault. It's your fault. You're so quick to call a black man a naker. What does a female naker look like? If you have already established in your mind that a naker is a black man, what is the complexion of a black female naker? Tell me. If black men are bullet bags, then what is a female bullet bag? Tell me. Let me know. If black men are dusties, then what does a female dusty look like? Tell me. Do you understand that you implicate your own self in the very things that you judge others for? And that is what you are doing. That is what you were doing. And that is what I saw. And it was unchecked. And it was so rampant. And I was disgusted. I said, these women are out of order. No wonder there's so much There's so much buffoonery going on. No wonder men are talking about SYSBM. I support SYSBM. If this is what they have to choose from, if what men have to choose from is a generation of rebellious women who despise order, who hate masculinity, who call themselves divine, but rebel against God, if that's what men have to choose from, SYSBM. SYSBM. And like I said, again, women, if this isn't you, if this doesn't apply to you, women, if it don't apply, let it fly. But for those who it does apply, you know who you are. Always reminding us that it is the truth. That's the thing I love about the truth. This is why I tell people all the time. Y'all know I'm open about my relationship with God. I'm open about being a Christ follower, but I'm no longer at the point where I try to push. I'm not trying to push, my way on doing things in other body, because I recognize that no, the truth is the truth. And if somebody really wants it and they seek it out, they're going to find it, period. So that's what I'm saying. If the truth is what you want and you seek it, you'll get it. But if that's what you don't want, and if you want lies and you want fairy tales and fables and you want to feed on poison ideology, you want to feed on all the different stuff, you want to feed on ice cream all day, then you can't be mad when you have a stomach ache. Because that's what some of us are doing, caught in a delusion. And here's the thing I love about life. There at every moment when we find out we're wrong, we find out that we're doing something wrong, we can change. We can say, wow, I was wrong, I messed up, I was wrong people, or I was believing the wrong thing, or I was in delusion, and you can get out of it. So if you're that woman, if you're surrounded, and if you have been surrounded by this sisterhood of failure, you can stop. You can. There is a chance to change. That is what I tell women all the time. If you want to know the truth, call upon the spirit of truth. Again, if you're atheist, this ain't going to apply to you. But if you're a spiritual person, you believe in spiritual things, call upon the spirit of truth. Ask the spirit of truth to reveal to you what is going on, to reveal to you what is really happening in your life. Because you don't have to stay, your life doesn't have to stay a train wreck. You don't have to continue to be a train wreck. You don't have to continue to surround yourself around women who are going to give you poison. You don't have to continue to surround yourself around things that are going to lead to more destruction. You can change, but you have to first recognize when you're wrong. And you have to first recognize when it ain't nobody else's fault. It ain't mommy or dad or that nigger or that bullet bag or all these horrible black men. It's your fault. You have to own what you have done wrong. And you have to go bring your life to God and say, I need help, because I've ran my life and it's gotten me nowhere. I have run my life and I have ran myself into a sisterhood of failure. And all we're doing is just creating more and more toxicity. If that's you, you can change. You really can. But you got to first acknowledge that what you're doing is not right. That what you're doing is destructive. That you have been deluded. You have been lied to. You are probably believing lies. And that you are the problem and you need to change. Honestly, this is what had me start my relationship with God. I had to come to grips with some things that I was believing. I had to come to grips with some things that in my life that were off. And that's what really started me being like, okay, you know what? I do need a power greater than myself because I'm limited. So I'm saying there is an aspect of change, but these women are so evil and so demonic that it's going to take a higher power for them to be saved from this delusion. I'm telling you that now, because it's not just these women are just a little crazy, a little mentally ill. No. Like I said, this is a level of evilness that is beyond human capacity. This is what I saw. So